Please stay. This took me like 3 hours to do. With that, welcome to Lexi Draws the Synopsis of Vanjie and the Isles of War, except I, Lexi, can't draw at all. I did write this show though, so bear with me. This is Aline Baritza. She's 14 years old, and she's a teenager on the planet Vuoto, which is this red-brown planet covered in little plateaus. She's also a perfectly normal Vuotan teenager, which means that this fall, she'll be going to this place. This is called the Academy of the Isles of War, also known as a Vuotan retirement plan. Now, you may be asking, what even is the Academy of the Isles of War? Why do all the Vuotan teenagers go to this one school? Well, let me tell you. Strength is vital to survival on Vuoto, a planet overrun by wild, fantastical beasts. In order to survive, because, let's be honest, these beasts can definitely break a city wall, many Vuotans attend the academy to obtain the ferrolith, a mysterious substance that, when drunk, harnesses the iron of the consumer's bloodstream to give them fitting powers based on how the ferrolith is able to harness their blood, specifically their genetic makeup and strengths. The ferrolith is basically the source of any Vuotan person's power into adulthood, so this is really important. Now, I'll tell you a bit of lore that isn't in the synopsis. When you drink the ferrolith, a gem becomes embedded in your clavicle, which is visible right above the average shirt collar, and its color indicates the power the ferrolith harnessed in you. If it's yellow, which is probably the most common color, the wielder can make force fields and use telekinesis, so it's basically the defensive power, very useful in Vuoto. If it's blue, you have healing powers, and it's worth noting that blue gem wielders develop thick, scaly skin on their hands as protection. Red, the last common color, gives you fire powers, putting you on the offensive. It's the most coveted power among first-year students, because who doesn't love arson? For legal reasons, that was a joke. Finally, purple gives you the power to warp reality. However, most of reality is controlled by the reality-warping beasts of Vuoto. So, because of the power they already release, most purple gem wielders can just create portals and stuff. So, now that you know the lore, let's meet the main character. And no, it's not Aline. Here she is. This is Evangeline Baritza, but she goes by Vanjie. She's 14 years old and is also Aline's twin. However, she is not a normal Vuotan teenager. Let me explain. You see, Vanjie has lived her entire life in Aline's shadow, and even now she can't attend the academy. Why is that? Well, Vanjie is also anemic, so there's not sufficient iron in her bloodstream for the ferrolith to harness. One night during the summer before Aline leaves for the academy, Vanjie overhears her parents deciding to send her to the Woodsboro Garrison, which is basically a work camp to hide away the children who couldn't receive the ferrolith for whatever reason. While working here usually starts with a short contract of payment to the parents, they eventually are trapped here. After all, living as an adult without ferrolith powers in the Vuoto outside world can be deadly, so they effectively lose their lives to the garrison. But Vanjie reasonably doesn't want to go, so she sneaks into Aline's bag when she leaves for the academy. However, all students must first pass through a dangerous in-between realm known as Inadir to get to the academy. The portals to it are opened by the purple gem people in the city, obviously. It's maybe a 2-day journey, max, but it can still be deadly. Anyway, at one point, Vanjie realizes that the bag has stopped moving, and she hears all sorts of noises and screaming, so she decides to break herself out of the bag. However, by the time she breaks out of the bag, it's too late. Aline has been killed by a monster known as the Ember Vieli, a fire-breathing dragon hybrid thing. Vanjie is sure she's done for, when BAM! She's saved by a couple of other kids before sustaining any major injuries. Meet Asher Cullum and Rhea Allgood, our saviors. They're both 15 years old and are starting their second year at the academy. Here's some more info. Eventually, they brave Inadir, and, with the help of the others, Vanjie makes it to the academy. However, she knows that she's not going to be accepted into the academy. She was already denied. So, scratch everything we know about her. As far as anyone in the academy is concerned, her name is Aline Baritza, and she's a perfectly normal Vuotan teenager. So anyway, Vanjie takes on her dead sister's identity, hoping to find security in Vur, but the academy turns out to be even more dangerous than Inadir. If the academy discovers who she truly is, Vanjie will lose the only chance she has to escape the future awaiting her. With the help of her newfound friends and foes alike, can she take on the Isles of Vur and prove to everyone that she can brave Vuoto? Follow along to find out. The Discord, if you want to be a voice actor, animator, or script editor, is in my bio. Thank you so much for watching. See you later!